Hello, Shirley. How are you doing? Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Sorry for the delay, but my connection is irregular.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's fine. That's fine. Thank you very much for being here. Could you please give me 2 minutes? I want to move because right now I am in my room and I want to go to my living room so that I can have better connection as well.
Okay.
Could you please give me a second? All right. All right. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Shirley. I want to come back quickly. All right, I came back. So sorry. So tell me, how was your day, Shirley? How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks. Today, another day, I had a meeting in
Uh-huh.
my lab on the office. Yeah,
All
but that's
right.
great. So,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, that's and I'm working in lockdown again. The meeting, and today
Yes.
we have a ladder and technique for the Wi-Fi here in my
Mhm.
apartment because I think that they say that they are problem with connection for the freezer and washer machine. That's interference. I don't know, but so they are repairing that
All right.
because sometimes the connection don't work or I don't know. That's a slow connection for
Yes.
Wi-Fi.
Mhm. All right. Interesting. Yes. So you're right now in with or connecting with another Wi-Fi or with yours?
No, that is the connection for the building, but that is slow.
Yes. This is
Yeah,
a free Wi-Fi.
yeah, there's a free Wi-Fi there, the building. Yeah.
Yeah. Over the building. Yes. Very good. Interesting. And is that included? Nonetheless, if you, let's say, pay the rent of your apartment, do you have access to this general Wi-Fi of the building, or you have still to pay any extra fee to receive that?
No, my rent include gas, water, and electricity, and that's everything.
Oh, wonderful. But you are hiring a private, let's say, package for your internet because you consider that the internet that the building has is not that good.
Yeah, sometimes, but I don't pay extra or I don't have connection in my phone
All right.
because I have limited internet in my phone.
Mhm.
So in the company I did hiring, that is too bad. So I don't know what happened. Oh, I don't know if that is my phone or
Yes.
but the connection is not good.
Not very good. Yes. Well, very good, right? I mean, yes. I mean, that's true actually, because when I was in the US as well, I had experienced that. Well, when I was, when I had not visited US, I thought that, I thought that the internet was fantastic there. That at any place you would find Wi-Fi that is low or that is, deficient. But when I arrived, I understood that, surprisingly, there was a problem with the internet as well. That is to say, in many places the internet was not very good, and
Yeah.
people tell you that, right? People tell you that, hey, here the internet is not working very well, and it's because they also have connection issues, even when they are a first world country, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. So, but do you know if your internet right now, the Wi-Fi, it's a 5G? There's all this controversy about the 5G reds, right? The 5G webs. Um, that they said some people, were very skeptical and said that some governments of the world were trying to dominate, countries through the 5G web. Do you listen about that? The controversy?
Uh, I don't know. Does my Wi-Fi in the building is 5G? So I don't know. But my phone, oh, the company in my phone, yes, that is 5G.
Yes. But
But I
did you
don't work
listen
in my
about that?
phone.
Oh, yes, yes, obviously. But did you listen about that controversy, surely? Some people who say that some, let's say enterprises of communication are trying to dominate people through 5G webs. Do you listen to that? That some people even make protests about that. Did you see that phenomena?
Ah, yeah. I remember that. The people,
Mhm.
the connection and on the 5G compare and other, or that's a
Yes,
problem
exactly.
in hell. I don't know. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Have you found somebody who is of that opinion in your experience, who says, oh, our government is trying to control us as their puppets, right? Through the 5G connection. Have you found somebody like that?
Uh, I think this is slides or I don't know the what did the people about us. The probably another person didn't that exactly, but
Uh-huh.
I don't have opinion about us. I think that's technology no problem or with the hair or the politic. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, well, mental control, it's something very difficult to attain, right?
Yeah.
I think it's, a little bit unrealistic to believe that through something that is very much distant from you and that has nothing to do with, I don't know. In my opinion, I think that that human beings are rational beings. That is to say that they have a rational soul, and therefore they are somebody, and that rational soul, it's not, let's say, it's not, it doesn't allow itself to be dominated. So I don't find that it's, possible to dominate people mentally speaking. I know that, there are some psychology experiments and stuff like that. Maybe you can tell me, right, in your experience in the laboratory,
Yeah.
they try to stimulate people, right, to obey some commands, some orders through neurological, let's say, impulses, right? What do you know about that?
I think that for the moment on this in this moment that's is not possible because the technology no don't advance sufficient for that.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't listen for the experience or specific experience you can have one sheet or something about that. Uh, can you manipulate a person?
Oh, yes. Very good word, that one, right? Manipulate
Yeah.
people. It's a very good word. Yes, manipulate. But yeah, I agree. I think that we agree there that I think it's not possible. So when these people, if you find somebody on the street protesting about that, hey, they are trying to dominate us. They want us to be
Theory,
slaves. No,
the
yeah,
different
try
theory.
to,
That is the same when the US or I don't remember
yes.
where this is here there's a snow and you can fire snow. The people say they Bill Gates. I don't
Yeah.
know. This is snow. Oh,
Yes,
that's very
exactly.
important.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It happened with the vaccines as well, right? With the COVID
Yeah.
vaccines. Yes, that they said that these big corporations were trying to dominate us, right?
Yeah.
Garbage that people invent, right? They don't have any type of scientific support for that, right? And that's I
Yeah.
think the idea, right? To have a rational or a scientific sustaining if you're going to talk about something, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, wonderful. So let's start, okay, with today's
Okay.
class. Now we continue. Um, okay, here. Give me a second here. Here. Oh, and did you receive your new roommate, Shirley, or you're just with the only one you had before?
At this moment, I had two roomie.
All right.
Yeah. This is
So a new one arrived.
sorry.
A new one arrived because I think that last time you told me that you just had one roommate, but now you have two.
Yeah. This is new.
All
I
right.
think that's Saturday, right? Yeah, Saturday in the night, right? She. So
Okay.
this is the similar place, the African Ghana. I remember you
Ghana. Oh.
say Ghana. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, cool, right? I mean, I didn't I don't know very much about that country, Ghana. It's in Africa as well, right?
Yeah. It's the same as for
All right.
gear. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Wonderful here and here. Okay. So I'm gonna show you a picture, okay? And before we start, I want you to tell me what you think about the picture. Give me a second. All right, wonderful. Here. Oh, okay. So would you say that you are somebody who likes, novels, that is to say, books, to read books? Especially novels. Do you like to read books or novels, truly?
Novels? No.
No,
What
yes,
mean?
novels. And novelas, novels.
Yeah, novels. Yeah.
All right, so let me show you this picture here.
Ah,
So here you
here.
have, yeah, so here you have two of the most popular novels in the history of, of the human race. On the left side, you have Harry Potter, right? That was written by the British writer J.K. Rowling. And the other one, it's how's this called in English? I forgot. It's not down, or it's down, down. No,
I
right?
don't remember. I never see the movie for the Crepúsculo in Spanish.
Yeah, down. But it's down, right? Down is the translation. Down. Down event, no. Or how is this called? It's down, right? No, rapero, down, no. What is this called? All right. We're gonna have to look for Crepuscular in English. All right, is that? Is Twilight. All right, yeah, Twilight. I was confusing it with Down because there's an album that was published by the artist or the singer The Weeknd some months ago, and it's called Down. And the topic, or let's say the genre of the album, is about somebody who's going through the night. So that's the reason why I was confused about the terms Down and Twilight. But I think that Down is that when the night is actually ending. That is to say, the twilight is when the night is starting, right? And the down is when the night is ending. That is to say, that it's about to start the morning. You understand the difference, right?
Not exactly, but
Okay. So I say that twilight is when let's say twilight would be something like from, I don't know, 7 to, I don't know, 3 a.m. Okay, 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. Something like when the night's in its maximum point, right? And down,
yeah.
that is the other period, would be from 3 a.m. until 6 in the morning, because it is the time when the night's ending. That is to say, it's time now for the morning to come, and now it's ending, right? Do you understand right now?
Yeah.
Right, wonderful. That's it. Yeah. So twilight and down. All right. Wonderful. There you are. Okay. So my question was that have you ever read any of these books of the Twilight Saga or of the Harry Potter saga? Surely.
No, I don't read the books. I see the movie. I saw the movie.
All right. Of both sagas, Harry Potter and also Twilight.
No, only Harry Potter.
Only
I
Harry
never
Potter.
saw
Okay.
the Tyler.
Twilight. Twilight. All right.
Yeah.
So you never saw Twilight. All
No,
right. It's okay.
never. I
But
tried,
okay, so
but I know.
you got slept or something?
I don't like. I don't know why. I don't like.
Or you just didn't like?
I have my friends that I love this movie, but me just boring. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that what happened to you also happened to a lot of people, right? That when they were watching the movie, they just got slept because it was super boring
Yeah.
for them. Yeah, I've seen some memes about that. People making fun of the movie because for a lot of people it was super boring and nobody wanted to see it. But very very excited teenagers, women teenagers especially. But okay, doesn't matter. So, well, if you have not read nor seen any of the material of the Twilight Saga, but you tell me that you have indeed watched all the movies of the Harry Potter saga, okay? So, what about that? Was it something when you, for example, were, I think, I don't know, let's say 15 years old? This was the boom, right? This was let's say, the most important movies being released, right? The Harry Potter saga. Could you tell me about your experience?
Yeah,
Did
I
you go?
remember. I remember that I went with my friend seen it the movie, or I see the movie. So the movie, yeah, this is I like the saga for Harry Potter. Yeah, I see that every in the movie. I remember I went to cine for I think the sixth or five movie of Harry Potter. Yeah, that is when Snyder. Yeah, I remember that's this specific scene when the Snide the serviente, this is the woman. So
All right.
in the screen you can see the snake in your face. So that's
Oh
yeah,
yes,
I
yes.
remember.
I reminded.
Yeah.
Yes, all right. I think the name of that snake is Nagini, right? Nagini
Nagini.
is
Yeah.
yes, who it's the woman. Yeah, I remind that scene as well. It was very disturbing in its moment when I was a child to watch that. Very
Yeah.
much disturbing. Okay, but you have seen all the movies, okay? Not just 5 or 6, but all of them, right? The 8 ones.
Yeah. This I think that's a 7.
Oh, 7? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm
I
sorry.
remember
I
that's a
believe it
7.
was.
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. So, which one is your favorite, if you can remind right now?
Uh I don't know to say in English, but this is Reliquias de la Muerte. La parte the one
Yes,
is the best.
the first part.
Yeah.
How was this?
De
It was
Reliquia de la Muerte vienen en final en 2
mhm.
partes. Entonces,
Yes.
la primera es.
How was this? I knew the name because I like the books. I have read all the books. This was I would incline myself to say it's the Death's Relics because I know that Relics is Reliquia. So I guess it's that, the Death's Relics.
The relic.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think it's that the title. But nonetheless, I understand. You mean the last one, right? The last movie.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the not the last
Oh, I mean,
movie.
not the
This
last
is
one, but I mean the last one, but the
before the
first part.
last.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because it was divided into 2 different parts, right? The first
Yeah.
one, and then 1 year
Yeah.
after, I think the second one was released, right? Or
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. And when you okay, so let me ask you another question. If you were to choose your favorite character of Harry Potter, which one would it be and why?
Mm. The personal, the for the movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, I think this is Hermione because this is so smart, intelligent for that,
Yes.
and yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that
Right.
is strong for the different situation. Yeah.
All right. Good. Yeah, you're right. She's very smart. I remind that. She was my crush when I was a child. Emma Watson. I think it was everybody's crush at that time. Makes sense, right? So yes, I mean
Sure.
Hermione. I think that she made a very good interpretation, right, of the character. Especially, I tell you this because I have read the books, and in the books, Hermione definitely gives you that sensation of being somebody who is very intelligent, sometimes a little bit annoying, but nonetheless very much sweet, let's say. And I think that she managed to convey that as well in her interpretation of the role. Yes. And what do you think about, for example, I mean, it's not here in the picture, but there is one character that for many people has been super controversial as well, which is Malfoy. What do you think about Malfoy? Would you say it's a good character? Do you like him, Malfoy?
Yeah, that's a great person for the movie. Yeah, I think this is more serious. I don't think that in the movie this is too bad or angry. Yeah, because I don't know that probably he don't identify your hearsay. I don't know. Yeah,
All
but
right.
it's great.
And okay, so one of my last questions: have you ever done a test of Harry Potter to determine what house would you be part of if you were a wizard? Have you ever made a test?
The test for in movie or for the identifier personal?
No, I mean, well, I mean, obviously, there's not a magical, you know, head, right, that determines your house in the real life. But I mean that, I don't know, maybe you didn't know this, but there's a website that is called, yeah, the Wizarding World, and you go and make some tests, and they
No,
ask you some questions,
I
right?
didn't. Yeah, no, I didn't.
Okay, but what house would you like to be part of then? Because if you have not completed the test until this point, in what house would you like to be?
I don't
Slytherin,
know. Yeah,
Ravenclaw.
I don't see the test for in website or any place. I remember I listen that, but I don't see, or I don't try the test.
Okay. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. But I mean, if you were given the opportunity to choose, okay, to choose the house where you would be accepted, let us say, in what house would you like to be? That is to say, Gryffindor, Slytherin. If you would have the opportunity to choose, what house are you going to be part of? Which house would it be? Slytherin, Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, or Hufflepuff?
I think that's Gryffindor.
Gryffindor?
Yeah.
Right, Gryffindor. Why Gryffindor? Do you identify with the values of Gryffindor, or why?
You know, this is more stronger in the movie. Or
Yes. Is the strongest one in the movie? Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I mean, definitely, right? In my case, I also, I mean, when I was a fan and I didn't like complete the test, I thought that I would be sorted out into Ravenclaw. And for my surprise, when I got into, I discovered that in the website, this one that I mentioned, you was starting work, they got me into the house of Slytherin for some reason. And now, as I have been growing up, you know, and maturing and growing up and learning more about me, I discovered that yes, I am indeed a Slytherin without hesitation. I will be a Slytherin.
yeah.
But yeah, but Ravenclaw, it was I wanted to be part of Ravenclaw because you know it says that the most intelligent people are part of that, and I wanted to be part of them. But now I comprehend that I am more of a Slytherin rather than a Ravenclaw. But yeah, I think so. All right, wonderful. So last question. Would you like to see a new movie of Harry Potter? And if that is the case, would you like all these characters here? For example, I don't know. I think the name of this person here of Harry Potter is what is his name? The actor, I mean. It's well, of course, Hermione is Emma Watson. Ron is Robert Grint, and this one I forgot the name of Harry Potter. How's
Daniel
yeah,
Radcliffe?
yeah, Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe, exactly. Daniel Radcliffe. So would you like them to repeat their roles if there were if there were new Harry Potter movies? Would you like them to repeat their roles, or you would like to see a new generation of wizards? What is the best option in your opinion?
I prefer the gay Daniel Griffin, again the this role.
All right.
Yeah.
Because you're used to them. I mean, you want
another
to
person new, but that is good for they in the movie.
Yeah, because you have somehow you have identify with these characters, right? I mean, these were the movies that were released when we were children, and we have some sort of love for these characters, right? And maybe we want to see what happened with them, right? Maybe because of that. All right, wonderful. Okay, very good. Good to know that you are a Harry Potter fan, just as I am. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Shirley. Okay, let's continue then. Let's get into today's class then. I have prepared the presentation for today here. Okay, so you remind yesterday the last thing that we had seen was the let me show you. What was all this these expressions of countable and non-countable nouns, right? Remind a lot of, a few, a little, many, and much.
Yeah.
We had seen that these expressions are useful for us to describe plural quantity of countable, non-countable nouns. We saw all the different expressions that we have available, a lot of, many, a few, many other ones. And we saw in what particular context it would be preferable for us to mention it, right? Although, literally speaking, although strictly speaking, they don't have any difference in their meaning. There are some cases in which it is better to use one of them and not to use the rest, right? But we have seen all that already. Do you have any question about what we saw yesterday, Shirley? Something that you got?
No, I remember the fields, but the another question I can, this is was it a different, or you can use without different a field and little?
So you're asking about which one? About a few, about this expression, right? Few. You're asking about that?
Yeah, but what's the difference in little?
And little. Oh, okay. Little with few.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. Good question. Let's go and answer it. I'm gonna open the document. Little and few. Yeah, it's a very good question, actually. Very good that you have brought that to the discussion. Google Doc. Okay, here we are. So let's talk about that, the difference between. All right, so I wanted to add some vocabulary here before we start. For example, when we are talking about personajes, what is the word that we use? When we're talking about personajes of movies, we talked about characters, right? Characters or character in singular means personaje. Okay, this is the translation. And the pronunciation will be character, character. As if you were saying character in Spanish, here, I'm sorry, the accent is not here, it's here, character, in the first syllable here, character, right? Personaje, character. Yeah, so that is very important. Character is personaje, okay?
Okay.
Wonderful. I'm gonna add more words later. Okay, so you were asking about, let me write it here, the difference of these words. The difference between few and little. There you are. The difference between few and little. Okay, so what is the idea here? Dear Shirley, let's see. A few and little. Okay. For example, let's start with a few. When do we use few? If you remind, few is an expression that we use in order to express a plural quantity of non-countable and countable nouns. For example, we saw yesterday, right? We can say, I have a few books in my, let's say, I don't know, in my school bag or in my bag, right? I have a few books in my bag. Or for example, does she have few, I don't know, medicines? Does she have a few medicines, right? Does she have a few medicines? Something like that, right? So as you can see there, Shirley, few is an expression that we use in order to express a plural quantity, that is to say more than one, right? Of non-countable and countable nouns. Now, remind that the translation of the word would be pocos. But nonetheless, even when you say pocos, you are talking about plural, right? For example, if I say I have a few shoes, right? For example, I have a few shoes. Although I'm saying that I have few, pocos zapatos, I mean that I have more than one, right? So we are always talking about plurals. Although, of course, in this case, it's pocos, right? You understand that, Shirley?
Yeah, that's good.
Wonderful. So now let's talk about little. What is the difference? Now, little. Like this, little. All right. So little is an adjective, right? This is very interesting. Little is an adjective that describes the size or status of different objects. The translation of this word, the translation of this word would be pequeño. This is what the word means, pequeño. For example, if I say, I have a little mouth. What do I mean? I have a little mouth. Tengo una boca pequeña. I have a little mouth, right? Or if I say, she has a little problem. What do I mean? Ella tiene un pequeño problema. Or if I say, we've had little complications. Hemos tenido pequeñas complicaciones. Can you see that little here is describing what? It's describing a thing, right? In this case, in this sentence, is describing a mouth. In this case, little is describing a problem. In this case, little is describing a complication. So as you can see there, Shirley, little is an adjective, okay? And this, for example, few is not an adjective. Few is an expression that we use to express plural quantity of things, but an adjective as such is little. Little is an adjective because it describes what? The size, el tamaño, or the status of different objects. And it always means pequeño, all right? So whenever you want to talk about something pequeño, that is when you mention little. Could you give me an example of little?
I have a little class.
Yes, I have a little class. So what do you mean by this? Could you translate it into Spanish?
Yo tengo un, I say the, sorry, I say the class G. Pero does it here yo tengo una pequeña clase?
Yes, you said with G?
Yeah.
Clash?
Yeah. No problem.
So like this, clash? Or
Clash.
what do you mean? Oh, cash. All right, cash. This, you mean this?
No, glasses.
Oh, like this? I have a little glasses?
No, G. GLA. Class.
Could you please write it down? I'm sorry, I think that I'm having trouble to listen. Could you please write it down in the chat box so that I can see it?
Okay.
Please, so that I can observe it. You found it?
Okay, that's here.
All right. Oh, glass. All right. Okay, glass. I'm sorry. I didn't listen very well in my headphones. Okay, so I have a little glass. Yes, certainly. What do you mean by this? I have a little glass.
Yo tengo un pequeño vaso.
Yes, exactly. Tengo un pequeño vaso. And that is exactly what it means. As you can see, little means pequeño. That is the difference between few and little. That few means poco and little means pequeño, right? In this case, if you think about it, few describes quantity, right? And little describes, as I said, size and status. Okay, maybe that is the difference. That I'm gonna write it here. Few expresses quantity, cantidad, and little expresses size. Size. Or status, right? Status. That is the idea. So now you understand the difference, dear Shirley, or it's necessary for me to explain something else?
No, that's fine. That's clear.
Wonderful. So remind, okay, whenever you want to talk about quantity, few. If you want to talk about size or status, what do I mean by status? I mean, for example, if you say she has little reputation, right? Tiene una reputación muy pequeña, like she's not very famous, right? Or for example, he's little now, ¿no? Él es de una forma muy, muy pequeño conocido en el sentido de not a huge famous person, right? He's little now or something like that. All right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Wonderful. That's the idea. Let's continue then. Okay, so now that we have clarified that, let's continue with the work here. So we have another topic, and this is a very interesting topic, by the way. I was reading it while I was preparing it as well, and I found it to be very interesting. I think this is a very useful topic. So we have, for example, here embedded WH and yes, no questions. All right. So let's talk about this. Let me explain what I'm talking about. Let me close this here. So what is an embedded WH and yes, no question? Let me explain. So an embedded question is a question that is inside another sentence. This is inside another sentence. For example, when have you ever listened to expression like I know what you mean, or I know what she's thinking, right? That is an embedded question. Embedded question is a question that is inside a sentence, all right? That is the easiest definition. I'm sorry, an embedded question is a question that is inside another sentence, right? For example, here we have an illustration. Look at the second sentence here when Amy says, I know what you mean. If you read it and if you pay attention to the wording, I know what you mean. I highlighted that sentence, right? Or that part of the sentence, what you mean. That will be a question within the sentence, right? I know what you mean, right? Can you see that, Shirley?
Yeah.
Exactly. So that is the idea. Embedded questions are simply questions that you find within another sentence. That is to say, it's not an isolated sentence because, for example, many questions are isolated. What do I mean by isolated? Let me show you. Remind that isolated means separado, right? Isolated means separado. I'll write down here the pronunciation, isolated, like that, isolated. So most of the time, the questions we find are isolated, right? For example, if we are writing down, I don't know, an article, we find questions like, what are the results of this experiment? Imagine that you are reading an article about public health, right? And there's a part in that article where this sentence appears. What are the results, or excuse me, the results with plural, the results of this experiment? If you can see, for example, this is an isolated question. Why is isolated? Because it's separated. There's no more, or there are no more expressions within the question, right? It's an isolated question. And later, for example, you could continue. What are the results of this experiment? We are not certain yet. We are not certain yet. Certain yet. So as you can see in these sentences here, the question is isolated. That is to say, it's separated from the other expression, which is we are not certain yet. Right? Can you see that, Shirley? This part?
Yeah, no. I don't understand the
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So I see that, for example, I'm saying that, well, let's not write it more. Let's say we're not certain yet. What are the results of this experiment? We're not certain yet. There have been a few, I don't know, issues with chemical materials and reactors. Nonetheless, we believe we know what is generating the problem. So I was mentioning, for example, look at all this text that I wrote here. Imagine that this is an article, okay? I want you to imagine that this is an article, all right? Now, let's read it together. It says, what are the results of this experiment? We are not certain yet. There have been a few issues with chemical materials and reactors. Nonetheless, we believe we know what is generating the problem. Okay, I want you to think about two different parts of this article. This part here, this sentence, and also about this part here. Can you see, for example, that here, these two highlighted parts of the article are questions? What are the results of this experiment? This is a question, right? What are the results of this experiment? And this part here as well, at the end of the article, what is generating the problem is also a question, theoretically, right? But what is the difference between these two questions? That the first one is an actual question. Esta es una pregunta real and isolated y separada. And this other question here is an embedded question. Embedded means insertada. Esta es una pregunta insertada. But nonetheless, it is theoretically a question, okay? But it is not, as I say, an actual nor isolated question. No es una pregunta ni real, por así decirlo, ni mucho menos separada. It's an embedded question. That is to say, it's an expression that generates what? Some uncertainty, but is within another sentence. Es una pregunta que genera incertidumbre, pero que está dentro de otra sentencia. Right? Is that clear now?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
wonderful. So these are the differences, okay? These are, I'm going to write down here. This is a, for you to understand, this is an actual and isolated question.
Yeah.
Isolated question. Here, right?
Yeah.
And this here at the end, this is an embedded question because it is a question, theoretically, it's a question within another sentence. This is an embedded question. That generates uncertainty, but it's within. There you have. So what are the results of this experiment? That is an actual and isolated question, right? It's una pregunta real y separada. But this other one, what is generating the problem? It is an embedded question that generates uncertainty, but it's within other sentences or sentences. Okay? That is the difference I want you to understand. Now let's talk about more. Okay, let's discuss a little bit more what this is. What else? So these embedded questions, all right, begin with a question word. For example, when does the class begin? Is a first sentence, all right? And for example, this one, I ask you, Shirley, the first sentence here that says, Amy, when does the class begin? Would that be a normal and isolated question, or this would be an embedded question here? When she says, when does the class begin? That would be an isolated question, or that would be an embedded question? What would it be?
It's like the question.
Yes, exactly. It's an actual and isolated question, right?
Yeah.
But what about this other one? Amy, can you tell me when the classes begins? This would be an embedded, or this would be an actual question? What would it be?
Embedded question.
Exactly. Why? Because it is within other sentence, right? Can you tell me when the class begins? Is within this other sentence, right? That is, can you tell me when the class begins? And also, as I say, it's not actually a question as such, right? It's more or less, as I say, a phrase that expresses uncertainty. It's una frase que expresa incertidumbre. It's not a question itself because it is not asking something directly. But again, it's a type of question, like theoretically, right? So that is the difference. But what is the first thing? That some of these embedded questions, they start with a question word. What is a question word? A question word is, or are those words that some questions use as the beginning of their structure. For example, let's discuss this. Okay, so we are now talking about embedded question. I'm gonna write down here the title. We're discussing embedded questions. By the way, embedded means insertado. I would say that is the the best translation. Embedded. Incrustado, let's say. I think incrustado is even better. Incrustado. Embedded. Embedded. Like this. Embedded. Right? Incrustado, embedded.
Very.
That will be the best translation. Okay. So what else? Embedded questions. All right. So embedded questions are, I'm gonna paste down the definition. I think it's wonderful. Here it is. Copy here. What is an embedded question? It's a question that is inside another sentence. Moreover, además, this one does not directly ask something, but merely creates uncertainty. Okay? Embedded questions do not actually ask something. Okay, they are not asking for information. They are creating uncertainty. Okay, they are creating uncertainty, but they are not asking something directly. For example, here we have an illustration, right? We believe we know what is generating the problem. This expression here, we know what is generating the problem. This would be an embedded question. But nonetheless, as you can see here, the question or the sentence is not asking something, right? It's not asking for information. No, it's merely creating or generating what? Uncertainty. Está creando suspenso. It's creating incertidumbre, right? It's uncertainty. So that is the idea with this embedded question. So they do not ask for something directly, but they merely create uncertainty, all right? Can you understand that?
Yeah. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's continue. So we were discussing here that there is something very important for these embedded questions. That is question words, okay? And this is going to be the last part we're going to see today. Question words. Question words. What is this? Question words. Question words are, then show ya. Question words. Question words are those words that function as the first part of a question. What are those question words? What, how, when, or where, which. As you can see, question words are these words that function as the first part of a question, right? What, how, when, where, which, right? That is the idea, okay? Those are question words. And these are very important because these are going to be part of the structure that we're going to learn tomorrow, okay? In order to create this type of sentences. As you can see, for example, in our illustration here, Shirley, what is the first word of our embedded question is what, right? Yeah. We believe we know what is generating the problem. So as you can see, these embedded questions also use question words in order to compose their structure. That is to say, they are composed as well of a question word. Okay, and that's the reason why I am reminding us and remembering us what are these question words, because it's important for us to remind what question words are for us to understand what we're going to be learning tomorrow. Okay, so any question here, Shirley, about this?
No.
No, they're fine. All right. Or any other question about anything?
No, that's okay.
All right, wonderful. So I'm gonna save this document. I think it was a very, very good document today. It has a lot of useful information. So this is August 24th. 24th. All right. By the way, you still have time in order to complete your homework. You have time until this Friday, if I'm not wrong. So don't worry, okay? You can still complete it with a lot of time, actually.
Yeah, I need more time for that.
Oh yeah, you want me to give you more time? Tell me.
I need, yeah, probably the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, with pleasure. I'm gonna do it right now, actually. So let me send this to you. Right, August 14th or 24th, 24th, not 14th, 24th. All right, so there you have. Make sure that you, when have free time, can open it and reread it. And so you told me that you want time until this weekend, until Sunday, until Monday. Tell me, what day would you like to be?
I think that's Monday.
Monday? Okay, wonderful. Okay, so I'm gonna give you time until Monday midnight for you to complete it.
Yeah.
And I hope that is going to be helpful. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Monday.
Wonderful. Monday midnight. All right, very good. So I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna take your assistance, and please, help me with the traditional poll. And today it's Wednesday, so 2 polls today. Sadly, 2 polls. All right, so I'm gonna take your assistance here. Okay, there we are. Wonderful. I have your and please now help me with this order pool there, Shirley. It's shorter. Right, there you have. I took your assistance, by the way. All right, wonderful. So thank you very much, Sir Shirley. It was a pleasure to share with you again. All right. And see you tomorrow for more content about this. And if you are able to, please give it a glance before we start the class tomorrow, so you remind what the question words are. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Shirley. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Yeah.